journey in Ireland has been bittersweet. The bitter part of it is behind me, and I'd say it's a new dawn. Since the beginning of 2023, it has been a new dawn because I spent 10 years of my life in direct provision.
So I just stopped by in Longford to get some diesel on my way to Sligo to interview a special someone for On the Couch with Abby. So we have been on the road for how long? For about 2 hours now, and we have another 1 hour left. So as you can see, it is a long ass journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome back on the Couch with Abby. Of course, I'm your host, Abby Demi Taiwo. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here in Sligo today. You might be wondering, what is Abby doing in Sligo? Well, I'm here to meet with someone special, an extraordinary woman, Funke, whose story made headlines across the Republic of Ireland. She is the proud owner of an Afro-Caribbean cuisine here in Sligo. Her journey has been nothing short of inspiring. So today we're going to dive deep into her story as to what brought her to this moment. Congratulations, Funke, and may I actually say lovely meeting you.
Same here.
And I just want to congratulate you on this amazing Afro-Caribbean cuisine.
Thank you.
You know, I actually would say to you, pictures does not do it any justice at all. So congrats.
Thank you so much for having me on your show.
You're most welcome. Actually, no, thank you for having us. We are the one in your space.
It's a privilege having to be hosted by you. Thank you.
No problem at all. So can you tell us a bit about your journey and your background to what has brought us to this particular moment? I understand you left Nigeria in 2005.
Yeah.
When you were pregnant with your second child.
Yeah.
So can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
Okay, so I left Nigeria in 2005, of course, to come to Ireland, not because I wanted a greener pasture for myself and my husband, but because we just wanted a better future for our children. And that was why we took the journey. I took the journey. And yeah, I came into Ireland as an asylum seeker. Yeah, and it wasn't starting off at the direct provision wasn't a pleasant story to talk about, but it's all behind me now, so I can talk about them and, you know, say thank God for bringing me this far. So I'm a Nigerian. I'm from Ogun State in Nigeria, but I was born and raised in Lagos. I'm from a polygamous family of 16 siblings. I happen to be the seventh in the family. So yeah, I'm married to Mr. Jide Egberongbe, and we have 4 beautiful boys. My oldest is 21, and my youngest is 11. Yes.
You do not look like someone who has a 21-year-old.
Thank God.
So fair play to you.
Thank God. Yeah, so the journey in Ireland has been bittersweet. The bitter part of it is behind me, and I'd say it's a new dawn. Since the beginning of 2023, it has been a new dawn because I spent 10 years of my life in direct provision in Ireland here. And within those 9 years and 3 months, I had to report myself to immigration officers every other week, and because they were going to deport me. So I had a deportation order in my name and in my son's name. And so for those 9 years and 3 months, I was reporting to the immigration. And I don't know, God happened in 2014.
Okay.
October 2014, God happened. That's what I can say. And the minister decided, oh, yeah, we'll give her stay. And that was a life-changing moment for us as a family because 3 of our kids were born in the system. And the first was born in Nigeria, so I came with the second pregnancy. But while I was here, I think that the 6th year, my husband came along with our firstborn to join us. So we were all in the hostel together. And but 2014, God happened, like I said, and it was life changing. We got a stay, and we had to move out of the hostel in 2015. And we came to Sligo because we had been in Sligo previously for about 6, 7 years altogether. So we thought Sligo is family friendly. We found everything you could ever want in Sligo. We have shopping malls, we have the hospital, the colleges are there. So yeah, so we came back to Sligo, and it was a real life then because you're no longer being cooked for. In direct provision, they have to cook for you. They have to cook for you. And we had to now start, because in direct provision those years, we didn't have the opportunity to go to school. You could only go as far as level 5. And we didn't have the work permit to do anything. So it was all about just waking up, eating, sleeping, making babies if you can, as much as you can. So yeah, as funny as it sounds, that's the story. So it was almost like a useless life. You have so much that you could offer, but you can't do anything because you're just in that bubble where, you're told you can't work, you're told you don't have the right to stay. And it was so much uncertainty because, we had a deportation. We were expecting to be deported for 9 years, and that didn't happen. Eventually, God happened, and so, but we got a stay in 2014, and then we moved out in 2015, and then we had to start our lives all over again. We had to learn to, live with the people, live on our own, and pay our rent. We had to get back to school. I had to start from level 6 because all we could do was level 5. So I went back to college, College of Further Education in Sligo here in 2016, 2017, and I did start the business course as well. And I went on to St. Angela's to do food science and business management. That's my first degree anyway, so yeah. And
you've actually covered a lot.
That you would have asked me. You told me to ask to tell you about myself. Okay.
But I love it that you're actually, you know what the next question I was going to ask, but I didn't want to interrupt you. And that's what I love about, the flow, because I was going to ask you, of course, I was going to go into direct provision, but you've said it all, Funke, you've said it all. I was going to ask you that obviously you spent such a long time in such an arduous environment. It's not a, shall I say, it's not a friendly environment. It's not an environment anyone wishes someone else, and you scaled through it. If you can tell us, I mean, I understand that you've mentioned all the challenges you went through, basically just waking up every day and really not having a life. How can you tell us a bit how it affected you, even mentally, or even your children, what effect it had on the kids, or even on your marriage, perhaps?
Let me start with the marriage aspect. Because for the first 6 years of my being in Ireland, I was all independent.
Wow.
My husband was back in Nigeria, so I had to make the decisions by myself. I had to just, basically do whatever I want, because my husband wasn't there. So it was really tough when he had to come in, and we became a family again. We became husband and wife again. It was
After 6 years.
After 6 years apart. So for me, it was a battle to have to adjust back to my husband being around. It was challenging to have to think about, I can't make decisions for myself. I need to run it by him, or we need to sit together and make decisions. Because for 6 years. I was independent. I was having to make all the decisions. I wake up when I want to wake up. I can decide not to cook because it's just me. And the boys would have mashed potatoes and beans and sausages. So it's a lot easier. But when he came as an African man, he expects you to look after him.
Of course.
And he expects to be in charge. So more or less like power tussle the first year, we had a lot of arguments. A lot, because we were living within one room together
4 kids.
with 4 kids. And at some
So
point,
one room, 6 of you.
at some point, it was one room, the 6 of us, in a large room. And then it went on to, okay, this, you have a big family and it's you and the kids and your husband. They gave us another room. So 3 of our boys were sleeping in one room, and then we had the last born sleeping in our room. So it was challenging. Imagine having an argument with your husband and you have your kids in the next room that is just interlinking your room. So it was all the challenges that when I look back to the mix, this moment, what I really wanted in life was, life has got to be better than it used to be. And in a way, this moment is just to make up for those tough moments of my life. And I see that happening. When I think about those years and I look at now, I just say, thank God. It's all worth it.
There's always light at the end of the tunnel.
At the end of the tunnel. It was tough on the kids. They didn't know anything else apart from my firstborn, who was born with a silver spoon from Nigeria, of course. And we had everything, and he found it difficult to fit into the system here because then there's no more living room, there's no more gate man, there is no more house help, there was no more driver. We left all that, and he came here, and I remember the first year he would ask us, where are the drivers? And I'm like, sorry, Jeremiah, there are no drivers here. Mom, why do I have to do the dishes? We have no housemaid here, and I'm not going to be doing the dishes. So it was all different for the first child. But with the other ones, they were born into that system. So they didn't know any better. They didn't see any other better life until we got out of the system. So it was challenging, yeah.
And can I just say this, Funke? I think one thing that is actually very important, because when we tell our stories, sometimes people put a narrative out there that is not particularly true or that is not authentic. And I find it really interesting in what you're saying about your first son, about the kind of life that you left behind in Nigeria. Because I think sometimes people think when people migrate to another country that you're coming from a, I don't know, poverty-stricken life, but sometimes what you're actually looking for is something better, a better future for your children, as you rightly mentioned. So I just wanted to pinpoint that.
Yeah, and I did say that in my first interview with Sligo Champion. I did say to them that some of us didn't come from poverty. We left something better, and then we come into the system where you are limited to just a room and, being served whatever they can offer you. And it was difficult. It was inhumane to be in such a system. I heard it's better now. Things are better in the direct provision. So thank God for that. At least they're able to work now. And once they come in, I think after 6 months, you get your work permit, and then you're also able to go to college as far as level 8. So, which is great, as opposed to when we came in, we couldn't do any of those things. So, yeah, kudos to Ireland.
Kudos. And I was going to say something before we go on a short break, that when I was doing my research, I actually learned that the system is meant to be something that you come in for 6 months, and they keep you. I don't know how this works, but you're meant to be in there for max 6 months before you leave the system. Whereas people ended up spending 5 years, like yourself, almost a decade.
Well, I don't know about coming in 6 months. Maybe by the books. But not literally. Because when I came in, I met people in there. I left people in there after 10 years, and they're still waiting. So I don't know what is responsible for that. I can't tell you. But what I do know is you could be there. I mean, I was there, and some others were coming. Some others were coming, and they're only there 3 months, and they get sorted.
Oh, wow.
So the
And
system.
does it matter what country they're from, or it's just...
It doesn't matter the country. It doesn't matter the country. I've seen Nigerians come in, and after 3 months, 4 months, it's not about the story.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. It's just, it depends. It varies from person to person. Now, I can't tell you what's responsible for that, but I do know that a lot of people would have spent more than 3-4 years before they get sorted. So, yeah, I spent, sadly.
We're going to go on a short break. Thank you.
Thank you.
So you mentioned that in 2014, that God happened, right?
Yeah.
So, of course, this is an amazing story, and even that's led you up to here because, you know, in life we would face challenges and obstacles. And I think even for someone who's meeting you for the first time, I think this is an amazing testimony. And, you know, when I saw your story, that was why I thought, I need to speak to this woman. I need to bring her on the couch with Abby. Hence why I reached out to you, and I'm so glad that we are here. So I would ask you, Funke, what inspired you to even open an Afro-Caribbean cuisine, you know, and is this something that you wanted to share your culture through food, or what exactly was it?
Okay, so my years in the direct provision actually helped pack up something, both spiritually and even in other aspects of my life, because the fact that I couldn't do anything else other than wake up, eat, nurse your children, and go to bed really propelled me into constructive thinking. It's what you want to do with your life. You have no right to do anything else. So, but we usually have a situation where in the hostel you get cooked for. They cook for you. It could be the Polish cooking for you. It could be the Irish. It could be Germans cooking for you. And they just slap anything on the plates and give you. And because I love food, I love good food. One of the days, you know, I was on the queue. We usually queue for food in the hostel, more like a prison. You queue, you bring your kids, you queue. And when you get there, a lot of residents are throwing plates at the kitchen potters because they're not happy with what they're being served. A lot of waste because people can't eat the boiled rice. Something as simple as boiled rice cannot be well cooked. It's cold, it's wet, and you get domio sauce or just chopped tomatoes and chives thrown on, and then bland chicken, and that's what you're having. And there was always a lot of fights, a lot of, you know, residents versus the kitchen, the porters and the chef. So one of the days I went on to the manager, you know, the management, and I spoke with the manager, and they did like, could I help with cooking in the kitchen?
Wow.
And of course, it was the first of its kind. He frowned at it, and I went back the next day, and I told him, could I speak with the owner of the center? And he said, no. I said, why? He said, because I know what you're going to say. You want to cook in the kitchen? And I said, well, it's not for me. It's for the residents. If I can cook something that is nice for them, I'm sure we won't be having a lot of fights. People will be happy to eat it, and there will be less wastage. So then he said, oh, okay, I'll talk to the boss and get back to you. A week passed, and then he came back to say, well, you can cook, but you get to bring all your ingredients.
With what money?
Yeah, at the time we were only earning 19 euro 10 cents a week. So and then I think they give the kids get each child gets 8 euros. So plus my 19 euro at the time I have two kids at the time, just around 30 something euro. So, but because I really wanted to do it for the residents, give them something that they can really enjoy and look forward to eating again. So I went on to the African shop around, got a few things. They supplied the rice, but I got the ingredients like the seasoning, like the oil, and I asked them if they could order in okra, and I got the flour, the yam flour, the poundo
Yeah.
flour. So I went on the first day, I made jollof rice. Everybody ate the rice. There wasn't anyways. They ate and took some to the room. And that was life changing. The moment I got into the kitchen, into the commercial, it's a big kitchen, it's commercial. I just fell in love with the kitchen. Oh gosh, I would love to have something like this. It's so easy to cook in, it's so big, everything is big and easy to wash. So that was um, the first time I felt I really would love to work in a kitchen as big as that. So I went in the first day, cooked, everybody loved it. The next time, so what they were doing was to bring me in once a week. So once a week, the next week we did okra, we did poundo,
And they ate
everybody,
all
even the Pakistanians loved it. They like there wasn't waste, there wasn't anything left. So the management saw less waste. They saw someone who could work with them for nothing. So they kept bringing me in. I kept introducing more African food, yam porridge, beans. Every week we had different things, and people were coming in and eating them. At least it's something they could eat, and that's been prepared with love and a lot of flavors. So it wasn't the chips, it wasn't the boring chicken, it wasn't domio sauce. It was something tasty, something from something that's been made with love. So it went on, and that's the moment that was the formation moment for me where I thought I could do this here. And at the time, there wasn't any Afro-Caribbean restaurant. There wasn't anything. There was no offers. It was just the Italian,
Chinese.
the Chinese, and the Indian cuisine around. That was all we had, and it took 18 years altogether in the hostel. I nursed the dream. I nursed the imagination that I first got in the hostel for those 18 years until now. I carried it to bed, woke up with it until now. But the interesting thing is, when I graduated last year, I just wanted an easy way out. I got an easy way out. I just wanted
What does
an
that
easy
mean?
way, meaning I don't have to think for a business. It's a different ball game when you run your own business, as opposed to when you resume 9 to 5. The moment you close, you leave the work
Yeah.
in the office. But it's not the same when you run your own business. You're wearing so many hats together.
course.
You, even when you leave the business center, you bring everything home with you, the staff, the marketing side of things, everything you bring home with you. And you literally feel the presence of everything you do in work at home. So it's a different ball game. I knew what I was going into. I didn't know how big it was going to be, but I was almost like, no, I don't want this. I'd rather just pick a job. So I got an opportunity to work in the college that I graduated from last year, but in 2021. And my husband said, we were having a conversation. I said, look, honey, I think it's going to be easy if I just take up this job. I don't have to worry about getting a premises because he knew what I wanted. He knew I wanted a restaurant. He knew I've had that dream for so long, and now was the time to do it, but then I wasn't going to do it. And he goes, no, you can't pick up a job. You've always talked about this dream. You wanted a restaurant, and now you've graduated.
Why? Were you scared? Would you say you were scared?
I
Fear?
was. I was, to be honest with you. I'm a believer. I am a minister. I'm a pastor of Trem House of Glory, Sligo, the Redeemed Evangelical Mission. So I was scared. It was big. I haven't seen an African restaurant in my community. And to break through was going to be challenging. Remember, I said I studied food science and business management. So I do understand the implications of what opening a restaurant. And I was scared.
What I find really intriguing about your story is the fact that, when I saw that article, all I saw was, I can't even remember the headline, but a woman who had been in direct probation
From direct probation
opens,
a
a
restaurant.
restaurant in Sligo. But from hearing your story, there's obviously more to it, because I wouldn't have known, no one would have known, not just myself, other people who read that article across the country wouldn't have known that this was where it started. Actually, that this dream was birthed, in the direct provision.
In direct provision.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I find, intriguing about your story. So on this entrepreneurial journey, as you said earlier, it's a daunting one. So what are the challenges that you face so far prior to opening the restaurant? Because one thing, and I'm going to say this, sorry, when we walk in here, there's so much attention to detail on everything, from the chairs to the lights to the decor. Like, look at that, everything.
And the map.
And the map of Africa. We're going to show that later.
Yeah.
Just so beautiful. You know that a lot of thought was put behind this. So what were the challenges that you would have encountered prior to opening this place?
The first was funding. We didn't have a lot. Remember, we came from the hostel. So if we were going to have savings, it was going to be, okay, what we've been able to bring together when we were, the moment we came out of the hostel, and whatever we could do then, really, we were, gathering a little here and there, but it wasn't enough. So, but at the time we had less than 100,000. So the first challenge was the funding.
Less than 100,000 euros.
Yeah. And we thought it was going to be enough. We had a dream. I had a dream. And I thought, okay, less than 100 should do. I mean, for the chairs, everything, the pots, the pans, the freezer, the hobs, the gas cooker, the fittings, the fit outs in the restaurants. Rooms, but then there were other challenges like getting a place. It was another challenge. Getting a landlord who would, go down the route with you in terms of, of course, if you're going to open a restaurant, you need to get a change of use of the premises, from a retail shop, you need to, a restaurant, and that comes with a lot of expenses, comes with a lot of time and waiting for decision to be made by the council, the housing, and then you have to go through the fire set stage where they have to ensure that you have every fire safety regulations is met, the walls are fireproof, the kitchen is, and then you have to go through the environmental health officers who would come and certify that you have a perfect, layout in the kitchen. If it's not up to standard, you're not good to go. One thing I'll bring it back to before we got to this moment, I used to work from home. When I was in college, I was cooking. I was cooking on part-time weekends. I would cook for friends that knew I could cook. So, I had a few people who really knew I could cook. So, the doctors who I knew around town, and they would just, oh, yeah, can you cook me a week meal? And I'll do it and get paid. So we were testing the market to see, was there, is there a market for what we do? And that went on for the whole 4 years that I was in college. And in 2021, just post-COVID, a lot of people we had tourists in different hotels around Sligo. They'll go up on Google, search up food, and will come up because we have a website. Will come up, and then because we were working from home, they would have thought they were coming to a restaurant. They'll drive down to the house only to see, oh, sorry, is this the restaurant? And I'm going, no, it's not. It's not a restaurant. It's a takeaway. So we had when we started seeing those breakthroughs, and these are Americans, they're Canadians, they're people from different countries, they're Germans, they're not Nigerians. So, and they leave a review to say, oh, this is beautiful, this is, so we have all those reviews online. So we knew, hang on a moment, at that point we discovered, oh, there's a market. If the tourists are keen to try our food, then maybe it's something worth exploring. So, and then in 2021, near Christmas, we had 2 calls from the community. I think 2 people wanted to host a Christmas party, and they were asking, do you have a table for, do you have a dining area where I could host, where they could host 30 people? And I'm like, we don't, sorry, we can't host you, but we can cook the meal. There's another ones to sit in and eat. Then we started thinking, this is what I should be doing. So that's one of the reasons why my husband was like, you're not doing anything else. That's the business you're going to do because it's your dream. I mean,
And
the
kudos
thing.
to your husband.
Yeah, kudos. I can't tell the story without him because I would simply have gone for 9-to-5 job. You just have to go to work. The pay will be there for you at the end of the week or every 2 weeks. So, yeah. So we started the business from home. We had the environmental health officers that came around, to see the layout of the kitchen, tell us what we needed to start the business, and we started off immediately. We were able to meet the regulations, the specs, the specs. We did everything we needed to do, and they certified that we could use our kitchen. So we started the business from home, and then it grew. And last year I went on to join Food Academy, Super Value Island, and then I launched our products. Our jollof sauce is not here now. We ran out. It's been sold out. So that was the first breakthrough this year, actually. That sauce, it's a jollof sauce. It's 100% natural ingredients. It's everything you need to make your jollof rice in a jar.
Oh, wow.
It's cooked, and you only need
Everything you need for Niger jollof rice.
for Nigerian jollof rice. Actually,
Just wanted to say
smoky,
that.
smoky jollof rice, spicy. We have them in different range. So everything you need, up to your rodo, red pepper, onions, your Maggi, your salt, everything is in there, and it's 100% natural ingredients, including oil. So you don't have to add anything, including bay leaves.
I need to get one before I leave.
You need to go to Super Valley to get them because we ran out.
I just wanted to mention that it's Nigerian because, of course,
it is Nigerian
such a
jollof.
big, topic within the media space where it's like Nigerian.
It is Nigerian.
Or, Sierra Leone jollof rice. So
Yeah, it is Nigerian jollof. Certainly, it is Nigerian jollof. So we launched our product in April this year.
Okay.
And and then we came to this moment where the challenges of opening a restaurant is, the first challenge was the funding. We had savings, not up to 100K, but we thought it was okay. It would be enough for everything. And then we started looking
For the space.
for a space. It was challenging. We had moments where landlords would stand us up in the cold. We had moments where you ring up some landlords, they have vacant. Sligo has the highest vacant units in Ireland.
Okay.
Yeah. But they're not
So why should
giving
that
it
be a
out.
problem?
It shouldn't be. It shouldn't have been.
Because unlike Dublin, where we are coming from.
There's barely anything.
Yeah.
The reverse is the case here. There's so many units that are vacant in Sligo, but you probably don't even know who owns them. And when you do find the owner, they're not ready. As a matter of fact, on this street where we are, we got 3 different options that we explored and we were disappointed at different times. The first one was on this side, and the landlord, we signed a contract. And within the space of 2 weeks, he came back to say, sorry, I'm not going ahead. So he returned the money. And then 3 doors away from us to the left-hand side, we got another one. It's a big unit, not as big as this. And I told the landlord, this is what I want. And he said, no, I actually have something for you because I think this unit will be too expensive for you. It was going to offer us at 2,800 a month. And when he said that, I said, okay, show me what you want to offer me. And then he took me to the backyard, an empty space. And he told me that what he thinks I need is to get a truck and do street food. Open the gate and get people to come and get. And I told him, that's not my vision. That's not my dream.
How dare you question someone else's dream?
And I told him, really? Why would you think I should be doing street food instead of being in a unit? He said, because I think you're going to make money. I said, well, I need a unit, and if you're not going to give me, you tell me you won't give me. So he said, I just think you can't afford the unit. It's going for 2,800. And I said, okay. I don't mind the costs. Are you happy to allow me go through the process of applying for a planning permission, which would take about 6 months to get through? And then he goes, no, he can't go down that route with me. And then we went on to try somewhere else, the same story. We called another landlord. He told us, okay, yeah, I'll give you an appointment, come in so time. We got there, we started ringing him, he didn't show up. Yeah. So then,
But
eventually we got this place, and the landlord was willing to, work with us and wait all the months. He waited 7 months before we started paying rent here. He's an angel.
Oh, wow.
He's an angel. And he's Irish.
Godsend.
He's
Wow.
a godsend.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So thank you so much for sharing all of this. And before we end, just one more thing is that what will your advice be? It doesn't even matter to anyone out there. They don't have to be immigrants. They don't have to be Nigerian or Black. Anyone out there that has a dream, what would your advice be? Briefly, please.
My advice would be just believe. But the most important thing is go for it. Go for it. A lot of times we always think, it's big, I can't do this. I never thought we'll be able to do this. Because this was actually a bank building.
Oh, wow.
Up and down. We have space up as well. It's an event center for weddings and all.
Yeah.
So, but if we didn't go for it, if my husband hadn't said, go for it,
we wouldn't be here having this discussion.
we won't be here. The community won't be having. There's not going to be an addition, of
community.
Afro-Caribbean cuisine in Sligo. So, as much as I can tell you, believe. If you believe and you still do nothing, it's just going to be a dream. That's never going to become a reality. So the very important message for everyone is go for it.
Go for it. So you heard it from Funke. Go for it, whatever that is. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations once again, and just well done. I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Questions from the audience? What's your question?
So we're going to ask if there's going to be an expansion to government.
Yes. So that's actually a very good one to initiate. So, and then we can cut this. So when we actually walked in, we said, oh my goodness.
Really?
If we had this in Dublin, like, I would actually book this place for a birthday gathering, just for any sort of event. So you said something earlier about having a dream and going for it. So is this something you'll ever think of, maybe even years down the line, to extend this to Dublin?
I'll tell you this. Yes,
The
we
capital.
will. Yeah, we will because we had this conversation yesterday with my family, and already it's something we're looking at because Irish Independent and Sligo TV show where we had an interview and they were asking, "What's your dream for 2024?" And I said, "It's to see Funke in other cities. Like we've had customers coming from Galway. They'll ring in and say, we're coming to eat. And when they come, they ask to see me and they say, can you please open this in Galway? We have people from the Netherlands. They came over. I don't know how that happened. So yes, we are going to be spreading to Galway,
Give them a run for their money.
to Galway, to Dublin, to Cork.
Wow.
We will be by God's grace. So
Well, I
yes.
look forward to you coming
Yes.
to Dublin.
But I don't think there are restaurants in Dublin, so it's going to be quite a competition. Isn't it?
I don't know what to say about that.
You have won before coming.
Oh, see? He said you won before coming.
I don't know about that.
You have. Wow.
Thank you. I'm humble.
Oh my, going to make me teary now. No, it's, and I'm sure that when we put this out there as well, like as I said, everything, people would love to come here, Funke. So well done, congratulations, and I wish you all the best in this journey
Thank you.
that you've embarked on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming on the couch with Abby, and it's a wrap from me, from Funke, live here in Sligo.